Welcome to the IntuSuccess Podcast, where intuition meets entrepreneurship. In each episode, we delve into the power of intuitive thinking in the business world. We bring you inspiring stories of successful entrepreneurs who've harnessed their gut feelings to overcome challenges and seize opportunities. We also feature expert insights on how to balance rational and intuitive thinking for optimal decision making. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur or an established business owner, our podcast offers valuable lessons on trusting your instincts, embracing uncertainty, and navigating the entrepreneurial journey with confidence. Join me, Marilyn Crump, expert dreamcatcher, as we explore the untapped power of intuition in driving your success. Hello and welcome, everyone. I have a wonderful guest with me today, and I'm going to show you Jose's information down on the bottom. So in case you're loving what we're talking about and you want to reach out, feel free to do so. So Jose, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Marilyn?
I'm doing excellent. So where are you located?
I am in Southern Oregon. I'm about 25, 30 minutes from the Oregon-California border in a little town called
Oh,
Medford.
I'm sure so beautiful over there. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
it's the best. I've been in Oregon my whole life, and I can't imagine being anywhere else.
Oh, okay. So when we talk about things like imagination, right? And you actually
Right.
found like, hey, as I look around, I'm where I need to be. Is it tempting at all to try to like think to be somewhere else? Or are you just kind of like you've always known all your life that you're meant to just stay put?
If I was gonna go anywhere at all, it would be Arizona. It'd be the Phoenix,
Oh,
Arizona, Scottsdale area, Gilbert. So I
for
spend
what
quite a bit of time down there.
oh, okay.
Um,
So you're familiar with the area.
oh yeah. So one of my best friends moved down there a few years ago, and when he moved down there, I helped him. I drove his car and his dog down there to meet him and help him out. And I just fell in love with the area. And then one of my other good friends, Rob, moved there from Jersey around the same time. So I was like, man, this is perfect. And they live maybe half an hour from each other. So I get to go there at least once a year around my birthday and see them, sometimes more. And it's just fantastic.
Nice. I think certain areas definitely gives you that space to think, and especially
Mhm.
if you're already living in a great place and then you go to another great place, it just kind of gives a tie-in. So, of course, I'm always exploring like what makes people tick, what are things that they're interested in, and what brings them joy, because I think that's a huge part of intuition. And you are an entrepreneur, and that's not always like the most joyous state to be in for some
Oh,
people. But of course, there's some great pluses with that. So, what made you
right.
decide to start your own business?
So I've always been very creative. And so my last job that I was at for 2.5 years, when we went on furlough during COVID, I realized that I needed to have a backup of some sort. And I always wanted to get into coaching, and I could share my story here in a little bit as to how I got started with my own health and wellness journey. But I wanted to help people achieve the same things that I achieved because someone else helped me. And so during the furlough from my job, I got a health coach certification and a life coach certification just because I wanted to utilize that to help my potential clients. Because I was kind of coaching a little bit on the side anyway. But then fast forward about 4 months later, in September of 2020, actually it was August of 2020, I gave a 30-day notice to my job and said, I'm leaving. I'm going to start my own coaching business. Now, I don't recommend everyone just quit your job and just dive right in like I did. It
Right.
worked for me because that's just kind of how I am. If I put my feet to the fire, I'm going to go. And so I had to go all in order to make this thing happen. So 30-day notice, started my business. I had about 3 months worth of reserves to live off of. So if I didn't make a dime, I could live comfortably for 3 months and then maybe four. And so I just went for it. And when I worked in my previous job, I had a lot of creative control. So my manager allowed me to make changes in the program. I was in learning and development for an aviation company. When she left, I was given a different manager who I love. He's a great human being, but as a manager, he always wanted to know everything that was going on. And when I tried to make some changes, he's like, "No, we've always done it this way." Well, so now I've lost my creative control. Where I've improved in a lot of areas for the company, he's now wanting to keep it the same because that's how we've always done it. So I just got to the point where I was like, I need to do this. I feel in my heart of hearts, I want to help people. And the best way to do that is just to go out on my own. So that's what I did.
So what kind of things did you have to wrestle with? Because, on paper, not a lot of people want to make that transition because it's kind of going into the unknown. So how did you center yourself and like what kind of things were going through your mind?
Oh man, I had a lot of things go through my mind. There was that fear of failure. That was imposter syndrome popped up quite a bit. Just all these things, but I just knew in my heart that this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I've always learned that if you don't take risks, then you'll never know. And so I actually took a risk several years prior. I did something similar and it flopped. And so that was in the back of my mind. I said, well, last time you tried this, it didn't go so well. But I've grown so much since then and I've learned a lot since then. And honestly, the job at the aviation company was a blessing in disguise. When I first got hired, it was supposed to be for data entry and just kind of help do some of that stuff. And it was supposed to be a temp job. Well, it turned into full time. Then I learned you know, um, how to edit courses and build courses and teach courses, to
Oh,
these
wow.
orientation. So
So
it
you were
really
getting paid to learn.
absolutely learning and development is fantastic. A lot of things I learned in that role have transitioned into my coaching. And so now when I built my courses, people are like, man, that looks really good. How did you do that? Well, I learned from doing. And so I was there for
Yeah.
about years. That first few months, it was just mostly data entry. Then my boss said, hey, would you like to learn more about X, Y, and Z and maybe teach some courses? I said, absolutely. And eventually I took over orientation, where that was my baby. I did all the things orientation. If you were brand new um, to the company, I was the first person you talked to after HR. Like I'm the one that took you through all the things. And so I just learned a lot. And so
Yeah,
it
and
was right,
that's a brilliant process because if you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur, you're gonna
mm,
be the one doing your own
right.
onboarding,
Hmm.
and you've already learned all that, and you know that
Yeah,
how important it is. Yeah.
absolutely. And so we got to make some changes. So that's what kind of gave me that confidence to kind of do it on my own. And I was talking to my good friend Rob Brown, who's in Arizona, the guy that moved from Jersey, and he just, he shared with me all the things that I do well. Because we were in the same direct sales company, network marketing. He said, these are the things you're really good at. So you might as well just go for it. Worst case scenario, if you have to make some adjustments or maybe get a part time job until it takes off, then you do that. But you won't know unless you just do it. And so
Yeah.
I just jumped
I
all
th
in.
That's beautiful to get encouragement from others. And then
Hmm.
when you were speaking earlier and you said you just knew it in your heart, is
Hmm.
that what you would call intuition?
Yeah. I mean, it's something that's been in my heart like my whole life. So growing up, my friends and family would always say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I always said, I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm destined for greatness. And they said, what does that mean, Jose? I don't know. But I just know that I'm gonna make a big impact in this world. I'm gonna be, someone who contributes in a positive way, and I'm gonna make a big impact. I'm destined for greatness. And I've always felt that since I was a little kid. Even as a little kid who didn't have a lot of confidence, that was always something that I felt was gonna happen. And so I feel that so far, I'm on my way to doing that because I've helped people, I mean, hundreds of people change their lives over the last few years. So
So when you started breaking barriers,
mhm.
did that come about pretty easily as far as like what you're gonna call it or like all the ways that you wanted to service others with it?
No.
Like, tell me about how that process went.
So we're gonna insert Mr. Rob Brown again because again, he
Okay.
was a big part of this. We're running a team together in our network marketing business, and I told him what I wanted to do. I said, I need a name. I don't know what to call it, but here's what I want to do. So I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a health coach who helped with mindset because when I was going through my journey, my mindset piece was the thing that I struggled with the most. So if I could help people with their mindset, it'd be a lot easier to get them to change their habits when it came to nutrition and fitness. So I was explaining it to him and he said, well, it sounds like you just want to help people break their barriers. I said, absolutely. He said, well, then breaking barriers. I'm like, that was so simple, but I overcomplicated it. Well, ding. So he's actually come up with a lot of things for me. And I look at him like, man, well, can you just let me do this on my own sometimes? Like, come on.
Yeah,
He's
he's like your AI before
he
AI.
he really is. And he's come up with some great ideas, but I've been able to do the same thing for him. And I think having an
Oh,
outside perspective really helps because I think one way, and he's going to think a little bit differently because he's a personal trainer, and I'm focused more on the nutrition side of things and the health, overall health. And so there's some similarities, but some differences as well. And he's been doing it for a lot of years, and yeah,
oh yeah.
it
Well, and
works.
I think that's why, you hear it a lot. And if you have ever read Think and Grow Rich,
Mhm.
Napoleon Hill talks about the hive mind.
Right,
And a lot of people like Warren Buffett, if he didn't have Charlie Munger, like it wouldn't be as successful because he knows that running ideas with somebody who's equally
mhm,
yoked as you and has that same kind of outlook on life,
right,
those are very valuable assets. And I'm so
absolutely.
glad that you have your friend and that you
Hmm.
definitely utilized it, that friendship. Now, what do you envision for your business? Like as, you're kind of really hitting your stride and seeing where things go. Like, is there a clear picture in your mind, like that you keep there in order to kind of say, yes, that's the right path, and this is what I want, where I want to see this project go?
Yes and no. I mean, I just recently made a big pivot here over the last couple months. So about 5 years ago, I kept getting hearing this whisper in my head that said "live life committed." I was like, "What does that mean?" But I kept hearing it over and over and over, kind of like Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner. If you build it, they will come. So I kept hearing it. I'm
Yes.
like, "What am I going to do with this?" And so I kind of pushed it aside for a while, and then last year, "Live Life Committed" kept popping back up, and I'm like, "Why?" I said, "But what do I call it?" So then I came up with the Committed Life Project, and it was just an idea. But again, I wasn't sure how to launch it or what I wanted to do. So it wasn't perfect. And so I was like, let me push it aside again. So back in February this year, it kept popping up again. So this time I said, okay, no more dilly dallying. Obviously, there's something there. You need to do something with this. So I went to ChatGPT and said, give me a 30-day launch plan. And boom, I got a 30-day launch plan. And I did the first 7 days worth of work in the first day. I said, okay, it's time to make this thing happen. So earlier this month, I officially launched the Committed Life Project, which is a community where I get to coach people, but then it's a community of like-minded people that I want to build where we're all helping each other out. Because I don't have all the answers. I mean, I know a lot, and I've
Sure.
got like 7 certifications, but I don't have all the answers. And what I went through isn't always going to resonate with everybody. But let's say I have someone in my group like you, that you come in and you share something that might inspire someone else. And then
Mhm.
they're going to start making some changes, then they're going to inspire the next person. So what I envision is having this massive group of this is hundreds of thousands of people where we're all like-minded, where we're helping each other grow every single day. And then I'm just one kind of, spearheading the whole thing. Not that I'm like the leader per se. I'm just the one that's kind of getting everyone together. And eventually I want to bring in other guest speakers and people to train on different topics that can help people live a more committed life. And the
Yeah.
reason I
Oh, I love
chose
that.
and the reason I chose, live life committed, well, I didn't choose it, it chose me. But the thing that I really want to really focus on is helping people live committed because I see a lot of times where people go day to day just going through the motions. They're not really doing anything of substance, right? They're just kind of, eh. It's like I'm just gonna do the bare minimum to collect my paycheck. And but then when they get home, a lot of times they're tired. They don't really commit to any one thing. Their family, that's a big thing that gets neglected a lot. And that's a big one for me because that's ultimately what cost me my marriage. I was a workaholic. I didn't know where to draw that line, and so I was committed to my family in the sense that I wanted to provide financially and give them everything that I thought they wanted and needed. But what people don't understand, especially with kids, is they spell love Time. They don't want
Yeah.
things; they just want your time. And once that time is gone, you can't get it back. So I got to a point where I realized that I was failing my children, and I needed to make a change. And that's kind of what started the whole journey for me. And then over time, I said, you know what? How can I help other people have their aha moment? And how can I help other people live more committed, where they live a more fulfilled life? Because so many people are so good at what they do, and they have so much more in them. They just don't know how to channel that, and they just get stuck. And then they just
Right,
go through the
right.
motions, and then they get complacent, and then they're not happy.
And like
So
you
I know
said,
some. But
yeah, like what you were saying too, sometimes they don't have a community to be able to
mhm,
make that bold choice. And I like that
right,
you're taking it upon yourself to be a facilitator, really. Like you said,
right,
you're not trying to be the top of this thing, but you're the one
mhm,
committing energy to make sure
right,
that at least somebody gets it going, and might as well be you since it's
right,
been gnawing and calling at
right.
you.
Well, and then the bigger this thing can grow, obviously, it's there's a monthly charge to this thing, but the bigger it grows and the more that I can end up bringing in, financially, then if I
Yeah.
need to pay other speakers to come in and do these trainings, then I can do that. So I can bring in a ton of value, and it's all coming from the collective, so to speak. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
let's say I want to get, I don't know, somebody, a big name. They're like, oh, it's $5,000 to come in and teach for an hour. Okay, then if it's going to add that much value to my group, then let's do it. But I want to have some big names. I want to have some not so big names, people that are just everyday people who are learning how to do things like we are, and just kind of share their testimonies. Because everybody that I know of, and again, my company's being called Breaking Barriers. Most people, before they broke their barriers, they had to be committed to something first. They had to commit to the process.
Yeah.
If you don't commit to the process, you're not going to break through those barriers. So they kind of go hand in hand. So,
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's good that you're bringing up the cost of things because
mhm,
to me, when I had the aha moment that, of course, money isn't real, like
right,
we're all creating some kind of bartering system that's more convenient because I can't just give you, Jose, a cow. If I
right,
if I wanted something a grand from you. But I think I love that you're doing that and creating like a way for people to say, you know what, I want to contribute. And if
hmm,
you're going to take the time to find the right speaker to elevate my life, then my
right,
little contribution is actually wonderful.
mhm,
That you're running this beautiful business and that you're being entrepreneurial, really, about the way you're kind of putting together the funding. And I was mentioning to somebody the other day, like, there's an art to receiving too, because I know lots of
mhm,
well meaning entrepreneurs that are afraid to charge anything
right,
because they don't feel it. It's what do we call it? Like the most humble thing to do. But I'm like, but then you're not really a business then, right? So you
right.
gotta you gotta find that balance.
Well,
How do
right.
you find that balance? Yeah.
Well, so I've been a wedding DJ for 20 years as well, and I have my company, and I realized that once I raised my prices to kind of to really showcase what my skills are and my experience, I started attracting better quality clients. So before I really raised my rates years ago, I was like, well, I don't want to be too much. I want to make it affordable. Some of the people that hire me, it was such a small budget, but they wanted so much more. It's almost like them going to Taco Bell and expecting filet mignon. It's like that doesn't work. You cannot get filet mignon on a Taco Bell budget. It doesn't work. So you have to value yourself. And what I learned from a good friend of mine, Devin Rodriguez, he said in one of our coaching calls, he said, Jose, when people pay, they pay attention. So if people want to get serious results, they have to have skin in the game. And if you're not charging enough, they're not going to take it serious. And how does that reflect on you as a coach? So that was an aha moment for
Absolutely.
me. And
Oh, yeah.
so you think about it, if you raise your prices to where now you have a high ticket offer, you have to you can help you're helping less people in order to make your ends meet, right? We're able to put a lot more time and energy into those people versus if I had 30, 40 clients that I'm trying to work with constantly, am I really giving them all the value? So am I really adding that benefit to them, or am I taking away because I have too many other things going on? So
Right. Yeah,
raise the
and
price,
it's a matter.
take less clients.
Yes. And it's a matter of perspective. Like you said,
Right.
sometimes it's not a good fit. And one of the ways that you can ensure that I'm going to put as much effort as I can, and then you're going to meet me at that value point.
Mhm.
I think
Right.
if the starting conversation is appropriate,
Mhm.
that money is a conversation tool,
Right.
right? So I
Absolutely.
love that you're mentioning that. Now, I know we only have a few um, bits of time left. Is there anything that you do on a daily basis that keeps you in such good high frequency thinking?
Yeah, just being around, like-minded people. So one of the big things that I love, and of course people are going to make fun of me for this, is I'm a CrossFit junkie. And people always joke that, oh, CrossFitters talk about CrossFit all the time. Well, I just love the community, the people that inspire you and encourage you and push you every single day. So every day I'm pushing myself to be a better version of myself physically, and it really just helps with my mental state as well. And a lot of the people that I spend my time with at the gym are also business owners, entrepreneurs, or they work at a job or a company, but they're high level. And so you meet some amazing people who just really um, validate what you're doing and say, "Man, let me share some ideas with you." Or, "Hey,
Yeah.
that's really great. I can't see anything to improve on. That's perfect." You know, but just we're such a tight knit community, and unless people experience it, they're not going to understand.
Oh,
There's
yeah. Yeah. I think it's like any other group that you feel
Mhm.
a connection to. I love the
Yeah.
spirit of CrossFit just because people are showing up, right? And
Mhm.
in order
Right.
for you to show up, you're seeing your friends show up, and I love that when there's a community, people go, "Well, what happened to you yesterday? You weren't here." That kind of
Absolutely.
good
Or, "Are you
good
okay?"
guilt
Right?
trip.
Well, or
Yeah,
there's times I've showed up at the gym and I try to put a smile on my face, but I've got a lot going on. It's like, "You okay?" "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." It's like, "No, there's something off about you.
they can
You
they
good? Do we
sense
wanna talk
it.
about it?" Right.
Yes.
And we actually just recently put a sauna in our gym, not too long ago, and and within the first week, I had a counseling session with 2 of my close friends, like, they were going through some stuff, and we got to
Oh,
go into the sauna and just talk about it, which was kinda cool because
yeah.
that's again, it's family. The people that I'm
Yeah.
closest with are the people at my CrossFit gym.
I
And then,
love
of
that.
course, every day I've got a couple different coaches. I'm a part of a couple different memberships where I'm around like-minded some of the similar what I'm wanting to do with the Committed Life Project, or with what I am doing, I should say.
Mhm,
But I'm
mhm.
around these types of people all the time. And so we're always lifting each other up and raising each other's vibrations. So that's
That's
awesome.
so wonderful. So if someone's watching now and they're like, "Man,
Mhm.
I could really vibe," or "I do CrossFit and I wanna, like, connect with him."
Right.
What
Right.
what is the best way? I'm displaying your website. Is that the best way to get connected to you?
Yeah, so that's a great way. That's just a very generic page, but on there, there's like if you click on, there's actually a link to the Committed Life Project, but there's also a link that says products and services. That goes to my main page through Member Vault, is where I house
Okay.
all my courses, etc. It's got all my
Oh,
social
nice.
medias. All my social medias are at joseibarra.coach. Those are my handles for Instagram, Facebook, I think even TikTok. So
That's awesome. Well, I
yeah,
just know that, everybody's on different platforms, and the fact that
right.
you're showing up on all the different ones, I think that's
Mhm.
that's pretty cool and convenient. Well,
Right,
Jose, thank you so much. I know that, we're barely scratching the surface here in this conversation. And for
right.
me, it's a great like introduction. There's so many wonderful people out there that like you yourself said, if like-minded people come together, we can definitely
Mhm.
make a lot of wonderful changes in the world.
Right.
And I'm sure I'm going to run into you again.
I'm sure we
and
will.
yay. And so people have your connection information. And if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to comment. I'm also going to display all the different things that Jose has in his bio too. And so that way, if you really want to kind of dive deeper into like breaking barriers,
Mhm.
then you know who to connect with. So thanks
Perfect.
again, Jose.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right. Everyone, we'll see you around later and then tune in for the next episode. Until then, see you around. Bye.